Hi dear friends and subscribers, welcome to the Cricket Happening Show as usual. And in this part of the Cricket Happening Show, well, I would have definitely loved to talk about two matches. As I said yesterday that there are two T20 matches which are starting today, and especially considering the fact that the T20 World Cup 2014 is around the corner. One would have definitely loved to have two matches, but unfortunately that was not the case. The only match that happened today was between England and West Indies, which just ended probably 45 minutes before at Bridgetown in Barbados, and the home team, the West Indies, prevailing over England in a nice encounter where they won the match, I thought, in a very comfortable manner by 27 runs. So the first T20, West Indies defeating England. And as I said, the match, the T20 match, which one was looking forward to between England, Australia and South Africa, never happened because of rain at Port Elizabeth, and without a ball being bowled, the match was abandoned. So the next match, the second T20 match, the next match is on Wednesday. Well, so there is only one match to cover, so it is going to be a full match report on the first T20 match of the series between England and West Indies, which was played here at the Kensington Oval, Bridgetown in Barbados. West Indies were the ones who actually won the toss, and they elected to bat. And the fireworks started right from the first over as the English captain Stuart Broad was taken for 19 runs of the first over. In fact, it was such a start in the sense the fireworks, as I said, began not only from the first over, it began from the very first ball that was delivered in the innings by Stuart Broad, the English captain, as he delivered it to Dwayne Smith, and Dwayne Smith on one leg actually pivoting and actually hitting Stuart Broad over the deep square leg boundary for a six of the very first ball which was bowled in this T20. I would say the first ball of the T20 series, and Dwayne Smith sent it soaring over deep square leg for a six. What a shot that was. And after that, he followed it up with three successive boundaries of Stuart Broad in the same over to rattle 19 runs of the first over of the game. So Dwayne Smith had really started off in a very breezy fashion. Chris Gayle, well, and then the partnership started you started gaining momentum, with Chris Gayle initially being a bit sedate, not really allowing Dwayne Smith to actually go and play more strokes, and that was what was going on. And then Chris Gayle also started unveiling some strokes as he actually got under a ball from Ben Stokes in a very nice manner, just a shimmy down the pitch, and the ball was sailing over the pickets for a six. So Chris Gayle and the partnership had yielded 57 runs, with Dwayne Smith contributing 27, and then it took the slow bowler Ravi Bopara to come in and bowl to Dwayne Smith, and Dwayne Smith was castled by Bopara for 27 of 18 deliveries, 5 fours and 1 6. So that was the breakthrough that was provided by Ravi Bopara, and would have been great relief for England as the first wicket was taken, because 57 runs were already added for the opening wicket in just 38 deliveries. So after that, Chris Gayle was joined in by Marlon Samuels, and then it was, as I said, Chris Gayle also started once Dwayne Smith, when Chris Gayle started getting into the mix here, he hit a six of Ben Stokes. He also hit one more six. I thought it was of James Treadwell, who was the best bowler today. And things were started moving along for the West Indies, and the score had moved on to 87 in the 12th over, when Chris Gayle was a victim, as he was LBW bowled Treadwell. In fact, that was a delivery where the previous delivery actually Chris Gayle had gone for a big swish and actually missed it, but this time James Treadwell was bowling very well today, bowling in the right areas, got the ball to turn in, and Chris Gayle was wrapped in front. So Chris Gayle was sent to the pavilion. LBW bowled Treadwell for 43 of 35 balls with 5 fours and 2 sixes, and West Indies were 87 for 2 in the 12th over. Lendy Simmons came and left pretty soon, as he could contribute only 3 runs of 7 balls, as he was a victim of Bopara, caught by a lump of the bowling of Bopara. And then 112 for 3 when Simons departed in the 15th over. After that, it was some real pyrotechnics coming in the form of Marlon Samuels playing a wonderful innings of an unbeaten 69 of 46 balls with 10 beautifully hit bowled. As you know, Marlon Samuels is such a classical player to watch, and today he said in the post-match press conference when he was named man of the match that he tried to model himself on Carl Hooper, because Carl Hooper, as you know, was a wonderful player, one of the other classic players. I still remember Carl Hooper's cover drives, so majestic they were, and that's what Marlon Samuels is. And Marlon Samuels echoed that in his post-match press conference, referring to he wanted to play like Carl Hooper, and why not? Marlon Samuels himself can be proud of the fact that he is also a very, very classical player in the same mold as that of Carl Hooper, and that's what he precisely did. So he got 69 runs under his name, unbeaten runs at that, of 46 balls with 10 fours and 1 6. In fact, West Indies did not lose a single wicket after that, with runs coming in pretty quickly. As I said, once Lindy Simmons departed with the score on 112 for 3 in the 15th over, it was essentially, if you see, there were only I think 34 balls left, and in the 34 balls they slammed 58 runs with with Marlon Samuels contributing unbeaten 69, and Andre Russell also playing in his real pyrotechnical way of contributing an unbeaten 24 of 15 balls, 2 fours and 1 6, and West Indies finishing off on a very challenging score of 170 for 3 of their 20 overs. The bowling, as I said, Stuart Broad, the first over went for 90, and after that Stuart Broad bowled one more over and he went for another 7 runs, so finished up with 2 overs for 26 runs. Jade Dernbash, after probably one would have really questioned his selection, because Jade Dernbash of late has been leaking a lot of runs, but today I wouldn't say that he was all over the place. He probably has really ironed out a few flaws there. 4 overs, no maiden, none for 36. He was not like normally he's pretty predictable, but today it was not. He really mixed it up. Tim Bresnan bowled well, 4 overs for 36 runs for him. Ben Stokes, well, he couldn't really get a grip on the West Indies batsmen as they went after him, 2 overs for 30 runs. Ravi Bopara was the best bowler, 4 overs, no maiden, 223. And James Twiddle had a very good hand in bowling, 4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 16. And if you look at it, the slow bowlers were the ones who completely dominated. The 3 wickets that fell between, Ravi Bopara and Treadwell were the ones who took the wickets. Now let's look at what England did. Well, England started off with Alex Hales and Michael Lumb, and they were going at a very leisurely pace, I would say, at that particular moment, with 8.50 runs required. As has happened, Darren Sammy handed the ball over to Samuel Badree, the right arm leg spinner, and Samuel Badree really didn't disappoint his captain, as in his 3rd over he struck with the 3rd delivery. As Alex Hales, he actually dragged Alex Hales down the wicket, and Alex Hales was stumped by Dinesh Ramadhin behind the wicket of the bowling of Badree for 3. And after that, Badree had immediate success the very next delivery and was on a hat-trick, as Luke Wright. Now that was a very bad shot to play. Luke Wright has just come in. Not even. I know T20 cricket is not something where you can get your eye in and play, but at least for one ball he could have just waited, because the shot that Luke Wright played was unwarranted according to me. Probably Luke Wright thought that he could actually go down and actually loft Badree, but Badree was too smart for him, and Luke Wright, with the very first delivery, was stumped by Dinesh Ramadhin behind the wicket of the bowling of Badree for a duck, and that was Badree on a hat-trick. But Badree definitely didn't get a hat-trick, but once again he picked up the 3rd wicket too of the Englishman, as Michael Lumb, who was looking good with 18 of 19 balls with 3 fours, was caught by Rom Paul with the bowling of Badree for 18, and England were looking in trouble at that stage at 36 for 3. In walked in Josh Buttler. So there were 2 new batsmen at the crease at that particular juncture, with Eoin Morgan and Josh Buttler at the crease. Well, Josh Buttler couldn't last long. In fact, he went for a airy-fairy stroke of the bowling of Sunil Narine, and the catch was scalped by Johnson Charles. So he was gone for 19 of 18 balls. Sorry, he was gone for a duck after facing just 3 deliveries. and England scored at 40 for 4 in the 8th over. Ian Morgan, well, he had got 19 runs of 18 balls, playing some nice strokes, 4 boundaries in that knock, but well, he tried to actually go for a sweep shot against Marlon Samuels against the spin. It was sort of a slog sweep stroke, and Charles was the one who took the catch, and half the England team were in the pavilion with the score on 55 for 5 after in the 10th over, 9.3 overs, and England were 55 for 5. After that, it was Ben Stokes who entered in, and he joined Ravi Bopara. Well, Ben Stokes stayed there for some time to give some company to Bopara, but only as much as now Ben Stokes. It was some very good bowling by Marlon Samuel, very smart piece of bowling one could call, because Ben Stokes, what he did was he actually it was a premeditated stroke from Ben Stokes. He had probably decided that he's going to put Samuels onto the roof, and he was absolutely far down the wicket. And what happened was Samuels actually slipped down the ball outside the off stump, and Dinesh Ramadhan behind the stumps effected a neat stumping, and Ben Stokes was, as I said, absolutely stranded there. He was gone for 4, and 6 wickets were down for England with the score on 73 in the 12th over. After that, Ravi Bopara was in the middle along with Tim Bresnan, and then there was a bit of a partnership, a brief little partnership where Ravi Bopara played some good strokes. He had a sort of a needle with Marlon Samuels when probably Bopara said something to Samuels probably, and there was a bit of a sort of I would say a bit of bitterness, but definitely the matter was brought under control by the West Indian captain Darren Sammy as he went and spoke to Ravi Bopara, and finally with 73 for 6 in the 12th over, Bopara, I mean it was getting in the sense 11.4 or 73, but even though they required less than 70 runs, but definitely the pressure was being built by the slow bowlers, and that was the time Ravi Bopara trying to hit a big shot, actually tried to hit a shot which was trying to hit a ball outside the off stump, but all he could do is actually, it was a slower delivery from Dwayne Bravo, and he actually skied the ball in the air, and Dwayne Bravo took an easy catch, and Ravi Bopara was walking after making 42 runs of 24 balls with 5 fours and 1 6, which made the score 101 for 7 in the 15th over. Stuart Broad came in and joined Tim Bresnan, and Stuart Broad, after what one could notice as far as Stuart Broad was concerned, was that he was not really looking really fit, because one was seeing that when he was doing the running between the wickets, he was hobbling between the wickets, and that was what precisely happened. There was a single which was called for, and Stuart Broad couldn't make to the crease, and he was run out for 5. That made the score 123 for 8. Bresnan was there. Bresnan hit some good sixes, one good six that he actually flat batted a delivery into the stands, and other than that, Treadwell, it was pretty comic stuff from Treadwell. Actually, Tim Bresnan actually flicked the delivery which had gone behind the wicket keeper, and James Treadwell was absolutely, it was like something like when you're in athletics, James Treadwell was absolutely slow off the blocks. As a non-striker, he should be pretty ready when the striker gives a call to run, but probably James Treadwell was not really eager for the run, and then he had taken a slow start, and by the time he actually reached the striker's end, it was all over, because the stumps had already been broken. Russell had actually put in a direct throw and bullseye, and Treadwell was walking, run out for 1, and that was 9 for 133 for England. And finally the matter became pretty complicated, with the final over, 38 runs being required for England to win, and that was absolutely, I mean, it was absolutely beyond them. I mean, 38 runs is something that one can even never dream about getting in the last over. And well, Tim Bresnan finished on an unbeaten 47 of 29 balls with 5 fours and 1 6. Dernbash was not out on 1, and England finishing on 143 for 9 of their 20 overs. Let's have a look at the bowling figures. The bowling figures, Samuel Badri was very, very impressive. In fact, he actually, I would say, he really had the top order in a real slide by getting 3 early wickets. 4 overs, no maiden, 3 for 17 for him. Ravi Rampal, 3 overs for 31 runs. Sunil Narine, unfortunately, one hopes that everything is fine with him. Sunil Narine had some problem and he couldn't do a further bowl in this particular innings. One only hopes that he is fit for the T20 World Cup, which is going to be starting. And Sunil Narine bowled 2 overs, no maiden, 1 for 8 for him. Dwayne Bravo, 4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 30. Samuels had a good hand. He had a good all-round effort over here, which fetched him the Man of the Match award, and rightly so. 4 overs, no maiden, 221 for him. Darren Sammy bowled 1 over for 12 runs. And Andre Russell, 2 overs, were very costly. He went for 21 runs off his 2. Well, West Indies have won the first match. They lead the 3-match series 1-0. But one thing that I would like to talk about the game, dear fans, friends and subscribers, is that if you look at the bowling card of both the teams, you see that the slower bowlers were the ones who dominated. So it essentially showed that however slow he bowled, you were able to get wickets. Because the pace bowlers couldn't get much out of this wicket, but as far as the slow bowlers were concerned, the spinners were concerned, the trundlers were concerned, definitely there was something in for them, because I mean, it was all a matter of bowling as slow as possible. Like Ravi Bopara got 2 for 23, Treadwell had 1 for 16, and looking at the West Indies bowling, Bedri had 3 for 17, Sunil Narine unfortunately couldn't bowl further, 1 for 8 for him, and Dwayne Bravo had 1 for 30, Marlon Samuels, the man of the match, 2 for 21. So basically, it was all about bowling as slow as possible, in the sense the slower bowlers were the ones who actually ruled the roost as far as the first T20 match of the series was concerned, and it went into the West Indies bag. And West Indies would be pretty happy, and Darren Sammy has already sounded that this is the right preparation, in the sense I mean, this is real determination shown by the defending champions West Indies. As you know, they are the T20 World Cup champions, and as you know, the T20 World Cup is round the corner, and Darren Sammy, the West Indian captain, has really, he also mentioned that in the post-match press conference, that he doesn't want to wait. He has already sounded that he has already started the process as far as getting to the T20 World Cup is concerned. He said that this is something where he has already started the process of defending the T20 World Cup, which is with West Indies right now. As you know, they are the champions of the T20 World Cup when they won in Sri Lanka. So Darren Sammy has already sounded that, and England definitely have to go back and see what they can do. But let me tell you, this West Indies team will be greatly strengthened when Kieron Pollard would be there in this particular team. But for England, well, they definitely need to go and see what really went wrong. Because 170, yes, it was a challenging score, no doubt about it, but probably if you look at the margin, it was only 27 runs, so probably if the top order or the middle order could have played, probably things would have looked much better. But anyways, dear friends, subscribers, the first one-day international is done and dusted. The second one-day international is going to be played, that is, I reckon it's coming on a Tuesday, and then we have one more coming up. So that's the situation here. As far as today's cricket happenings is concerned, England losing the match, the first T20 match of the series at Kensington Oval, Bridgetown in Barbados, to England to West Indies by 27 runs. Well, dear fans and subscribers, one thing that I would like to just go back to my yesterday's cricket happening show on a Saturday, the late night cricket happening show, where I mentioned that Fawad Alam was the first person. Probably it was a sort of an error on my part. I do apologize for that. Actually, what I meant by saying that Fawad Alam scored a one-day century, because he became the first left-handed batsman in the Pakistani middle order to actually score a century. That's what I meant actually, but unfortunately I couldn't get my whole sentence out. I just mentioned that Fawad Alam scored the one-day century, and he was the first left-hander, but I know I'm absolutely wrong. I do apologize for that. Actually, Fawad Alam is the first left-handed middle-order batsman in Pakistani cricket in one-day internationals to score a one-day international century. Well, on this note, dear fans, friends and subscribers, this cricket happening show is ending, but your cricket happening show is alive as usual, as tomorrow on a Monday, Ram will be there to share the cricket the cricket events on this particular cricket happening show. That's it from me, your host Ram for the Cricket Happening show for today. See you all tomorrow. Until then, it's goodbye. Thank you.